Action. Clapboard. Non-sync in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Oh, hi, Captain Foley.
Well, you also said it wrong, so we all did it wrong. The ad for this video is playing inside this video. Meta.
Hey, hello, everybody.
For an OLED 8K TV, which I love those sorts of ads. It's like, look at it in 8K. You're watching it in 1080p. Look how good 8K looks in 1080p. It's like, you just show me pretty things. You can't show it.
I'm getting an 8K next. I'm gonna get a 75-inch 8K TV.
You're not though, are
That
you?
is my next TV purchase. Yes.
You actually. But you didn't get a 4K though, did you?
Nope. Just gonna skip that altogether.
See, it's funny because I saw when I was with Mark Lawrence, he took me to the big tech store, which was thoroughly underwhelming. And you ask him, and he was thoroughly underwhelmed. Yeah. It was not great. I mean, he was great, but it wasn't great. And actually, I was like, oh my god, there are 8K TVs. I took a picture. I was like, oh my god. They were huge. Samsung 8K OLED 900R, and the price was like, holy. Yeah. So Samsung, and I took a picture of this in America. Yay! It's a 85-inch QLED HDR Elite, $14,997.
Ridiculous.
And if you want to get insurance, then that will be between $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000, depending on how many years of insurance. $15,000. I can get a 4K TV that's a good size for like $700. That's good.
Yep.
But I mean, this is obviously 4 times that plus the size plus it's brand new. But there's literally no 8K content, like none. That's always a tricky thing with content. Do you do the content first for the format, or does the format come first with no content? So VR is still struggling because it takes a while to make VR content, and it sort of had a good launch and then sort of didn't. But 4K, they kind of like at the same time, you know. And now 4K is, I think, pretty well accepted. I've got plenty of 4K Blu-rays and I love them. So past 4K now.
So hi guys.
Hello.
We are here to talk about controversial things. Well, it's not really controversial, I don't think. But anyway,
about a good 2020, we think, we hope.
Yes.
If they'll come out in 2020, they might not. We're assuming. I mean, they already were wrong about Picard coming out in 2019. They promised. They're wrong. I didn't think for a second they were going to be in 2019. Not for a second.
Wow.
Or like the
Orville approach. There was a second where I was hoping so.
I mean, or the Orville approach. It's the last day of the year. It's like, yep, and that was also a reuse from season 1 that you just put back on the screens. Thanks for that. That was great. How you doing, Stuart? How was your day?
My day was good. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. How's everybody in the chat? I hope you're all well.
Yes, we had a really, really good chat yesterday, season finale. We're here to talk about. It's funny, we ended our look at the past yesterday, and now we're very much talking about the future today. Hopefully you guys will join us. We had a great fan response already. But you know, are we really excited for these things? And these 3 thumbnails, I think, represent it quite well. Honestly, the very different what you do and don't want out of them. Yeah. But what appeals?
We already have a super chat, which is great. Laughable Larry put in $2 and says #make Jeff pay. So, on that note, guys, 59 of you here. We need at least 50 likes for Jeff to pay because he's stingy. So give us 50 likes. 50 of you just hit the like button and let's get that rolling.
I will share this while you talk to our wonderful audience. So see you in a minute.
Okay. So he's going to go do his sharing thing, share this video around so that we can get more viewers because you guys are fantastic. But as you guys know, it's that time of the day of the live where I say to you all, I love you all very much. And if you love us and want to show us your support, best way to do that is super chats. It gets your voice heard, your question answered. It gets you noticed by the chat and by us as well. So it comes up in a separate window, which is amazing, which is awesome. And it's a great way to support the channel and make these lives something that we will continue to do. We're going to have a lot of great new content coming in early-ish, mid-2020. So hopefully we'll be able to cover all of those. You guys are going to love the content. We'll have to review Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery Season 2, the new Nickelodeon show once it's announced as to what the title of that will be. So super chatting is great. If you have anything you want us to say out loud in the chat, please feel free to super chat that. If you can't super chat or you don't want to super chat because YouTube steals 30% right off the top, one of the best ways another way to support us is by PayPal. All that information is down in the links below as per usual. And also Patreon. Our Patreon is a fantastic monthly service, which we're going to be upgrading soon to give the Patreon some actual perks. But it's the backbone of what we do here, and it helps out the channel immensely. Even $1 a month, $2 a month, less than the price of a cup of coffee a month, it all adds up in the end and really helps us out. So if you guys could do that, that's great. Also, if you want some Trek Yards merch, by all means, click the link in the description below for the Teespring store. Lots of great stuff there as well. And if you guys are Indiegogo supporters, just know there's more perks being sent out next week. That's all I have to say about that.
And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Yeah. Trek Yards is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Except you're always gonna get some of us. I don't know what chocolates we are. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna go down that road.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. So where do you want to start with this? Although actually, I'll start asking you a question. When I was doing the sharing, I remember there was the fourth show, the Nickelodeon show. Do you think that'll be out in 2020?
I already mentioned it.
Oh, well, there you go.
You were sharing, and it's in the description of this video as well.
Perfect, then.
I think by the time we're getting the rollout of Picard and stuff, we're going to get announcements of a title, probably some animation stills, hopefully, unless they're saving that for San Diego Comic-Con next year, because God knows it won't be in Vegas that they announce that.
Wouldn't it be great though? The year after we come, they announce the new Riker show, the new Technobabble medical spin-off, and we're like, we skipped the 1 year we skipped.
Well, maybe we could make it back next year. We'll have to see how things go. It might be a really great year for us, so who knows? But
that's true.
That being said, guys, the new Nickelodeon show is aimed more at kids. A lot of people are complaining about the animation style of Lower Decks. I was one of them at first, but now having heard the panel in Vegas, I'm actually excited for it. They seem to have their heads not firmly implanted up their asses. They seem to know what they want, and they know Star Trek. So I'm actually very confident.
They sound like they might respect canon and understand it, and not be. That's the thing about having the Big Brother. The Big Brother was Discovery, and now it's reduced to the little sister, to Picard, and then the little cousin that less people are going to care about is animated, which means they might have less scrutiny, which means they're no longer the front runners as Discovery were, so they will get away with more actual Star Trek canon because the producers aren't saying to them, you must sell to average people. It's like, no, this is a very niche show, because now you're cutting down the audience to animation enjoyers and Star Trek fans. So you need to get the Star Trek fans. Random animated lovers won't just tune on, oh, there's a new Star Trek animated, I'm in. So obviously some will, but you need to get the Star Trek fans on board to actually make a good Star Trek show.
It depends where the animated is going to be available. If it's only CBS All Access, is it going to be on Amazon Prime? Is it going to be on Hulu? Are they going to spread it out on another platform? Who the hell knows?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a very good question, and that'll determine the audience. I think if they want a general audience, it's best to put it on a network if they can, where people can easily access it without having a paywall.
I mean, Netflix was the best thing they could have done for Discovery because that gave them the entire European audience for free. I mean, that was that's how they got the European audience. Didn't help the American market, but that wasn't their market. As I said before, I would pay for all access if I could. They're stupid not to let us have that. I know there's legal reasons and stuff, but I think it's a ridiculous thing. So yeah, now they've swapped Picard to Amazon, the bidding war. I feel it'd be weird to have the animation on Amazon, but again, good because everyone who gets Prime gets it for free, and everyone should have Prime. Yeah. So, unbelievably useful service.
And Dan23 says that they're still going to make an Academy show and a show about where Khan was exiled to. I would say the Academy show is probably in the running for a possibility. But the Khan thing and Nicholas Meyer, he's been very, very quiet lately. That could be a good thing. Could means he's working on something and doesn't want to spill the beans. It could also have just been a red herring. So it's hard to say really with that. I would. I don't know if I'd be interested. I of course would watch it, and if it's good, it's good. That's awesome. But I mean, we've already read the. I've read the novels. I've read the comics, the graphic novels about Khan's exile and what happened. So
A story's been told.
they've already told a great story. Why come and mess it up with official canon because
Well,
it's on
that's
screen?
what they did with Star Wars, so, take a page out of their book.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume the Academy show is going to be the Nickelodeon show.
That would be a possibility.
I mean,
yeah.
they're not going to make another show. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's kid-friendly, it's about people at school. I mean, yes, they might be older than the kids watching it, but if it's a nice, friendly show, I mean, you have kids shows about... I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're not exactly children, they're
Teenagers.
So, I mean, you know what I mean? The kids love it. Transformers aren't exactly child formers. They're, it doesn't matter, age range. And the Khan thing we know is on a gentle pause because he wrote the script, it wasn't taken, they paused on it, and then nothing's been done for over a year and a half. So I assume that's just... It's one of those kind of things like they pitched it as this will get traction, and then they never went with it because it's not a smart idea. And I would be very certain that the Section 31 show, they're going to red herring that into a hybrid Pike show and include Section 31 because you couldn't do that in Discovery again, but you can do a Pike show and make kind of a hybrid. So Giorgio is a regular character on that, or Tyler is, to get some of those fans. They're kind of like, well, we people want Pike, let's swap resources there, but it still has Section 31 undertone. But I know that Anson Mont doesn't want that. He wants it to be pure exploration native.
Yeah. Jarzia says at Marco B, hey, at least Trek Yards and Lore Reloaded make sure they read the super chats and occasionally the chat. Other channels people throw in $20 and get no recognition, or that gets read like 5 hours later. The Burnett work, Rob Burnett's Bad Fat, put in a super chat and he doesn't get to it till like way later. And there's something to be said for reading everybody's comment in the chat, and just waiting to catch up to the super chats. Anti-Trekker does that. Usually it's really frustrating when you super chat something or comment, because by the time you've commented on something he just said, it's moved on and it's like an hour later, and then he gets to it and he doesn't know what the hell you're talking about, which is frustrating. So yeah, we try to read both, but as I said earlier, super chats are very noticeable to both us and the chat, so you get your question or your comment out there. So it's a great way to participate. And we have 2 new super chats, so let's get to those. Fat Produce puts in $2.
Hey.
I'm looking forward to season 4 of The Expanse now. LOL. I still haven't got into The Expanse, and that's something we will get into. Do not worry.
I think we'll do some sort of reviewy thing. That will be fun.
Yeah. And Fat Produce puts in $5. I think execs behind Star Trek now have no real plans, much like how Disney had no real plans for Star Wars, except utter market saturation. Yeah, it's all about money these days with these corporations, unfortunately. But now that we have the CBS Viacom merger, hopefully things will kind of get back on track. People have been asking, I saw it on Twitter today, what does that mean exactly? What are you hoping for? Will it bring Canon in line with everything? But then I've also heard that Alex Kurtzman has said there's too much Canon in 50 years of Canon to actually adhere to Canon, so they won't be doing that. So I have no idea.
But as we know, he's just the wrong guy to have hired. As many of the team are, at least the higher up team. And yeah, we make a real effort. The super chat situation with us is that you guys help support the channel directly, because over half our funds are now derived from super chats, which is sad but also amazing that you get to support us. But also it means that you get to steer the conversation.
And this is a great one for that, because we're going to be talking. Yeah, we want your thoughts about these shows. So yes, absolutely.
So if you want us to talk about something, then by putting in any amount with the text, you will have that guaranteed conversation, and that's great for people who want to make a point, support the channel, and whatnot. We do read the non-super chat things as well, but obviously you're here to listen to us talk, and if we see things, that's great, and we have moderators that tell us things, and obviously we do whatever. But we're trying to have a conversation, and we want to give priority to those who are actually helping the channel and blah blah blah. It's pretty
And that's why we like
self-explanatory, you know.
That's why we like you guys as a community. You show up on a regular basis to these lives. We know you. We recognize the names. So not only are Samuel and myself having a conversation, but we're having a conversation with you guys.
Yes.
And we want to hear your voice. We want your input because it's very important when we do these. Because like Samuel said, sometimes it'll send us off on a little bit of a tangent, but it's something that you guys are interested in and other people might be interested in. So by all means, we love hearing that kind of thing. So super chat away.
Yeah. It's a really fun medium.
Yeah. And Fat Produce puts in another $2. Thank you very much. Everything Alex Kurtzman touches turns to ashes. Ah, yes.
Not got the best track record. It's like JJ Abrams.
Makes me...
sorry.
I was going to say that makes me wonder how he pees. Anyway, continue.
Well, it's like JJ Abrams. On paper, he has an amazing track record of quality films. But if you actually watch those films, it's like, oh... There's got story. Now, obviously, he's not the one writing them, but that's his team. It's like, well, they've got story problems, and the mystery box thing is a broken philosophy, and la la la. You know, it's like there are severe problems in his format. I mean, obviously, can be said for lots of different directors. I mean, George Lucas's prequels are a directorial nightmare. If you break them down, you know, his style was bad because it got worse after 20 years, all that jazz, and other people are not perfect, but you know.
But his prequels, as bad as some of them are direction-wise and writing-wise, some of the dialogue, it still feels like Star Wars.
100%.
You know, it's got that George Lucas touch to it. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People were designing stuff, and he was saying yes, no. Like his vision kept it consistent, and you know.
Well, that's why Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi is so great, because they had different directors. Yep. He wasn't in charge of absolutely everything.
Yep.
And it's good to incorporate someone else's vision, and otherwise you get tunnel vision. You get very focused on what you want, and sometimes you go a little bit off the rails. So it's good to bring in other people and you know, expand that. So
well, this is why a film is made up of dozens of production people doing different jobs, because no one person will be the best at everything, and even if you are talented at lots of things, some person might just know how to do it better, quicker, easier, and have that fresh perspective. You know, I'm working on this fan film Demons, the Avalon Universe episode 3, and you know, I've got a single line in the script, and I've always said my one skill is composition. I can see a shot, design it, and luckily I've learned the skills to build it. That's cool. But I can make a shot, visualize a scene, and the guy's like, the director's like, oh wow, it's more than I thought you were going to do. I'm like, well, there you go, good. You know, because it's bringing a different person to do it. Whereas he's doing like MSDs and displays, and I'm like, oh, that's really creative. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like he's done a really good face display thing. Like, oh, that's snazzy. Like I know it's simple to make, but does a really good execution. I'm like, damn, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. I could learn, but that's why he's doing that and I'm doing this. You know.
Yeah. Well, Fat Produce puts in another $5.
Hey.
You are amazing. You're our lead super chatter today, our super friend, if you will. And he says, Captain, you have even more reason to hate Kurtzman after what he's done to the Transformers franchise and those shitty films. Yes, I have not forgotten that. It's one of the reasons that I'm kind of like, ugh. However, they are getting better with Bumblebee. And...
Well, that was a brand new team. It's because they just rebooted it.
Yeah.
That's why. It's just different people.
Yep.
As is often the situation. And Supercoop says, hi.
Hi.
But let's talk about the actual topic then. Although Species 157 makes a joke, which Star Trek are most excited for in 2020? The Orville. And that'd be a good conversation by itself, because there's certainly things to understand with the change in format, which is pretty exciting.
Well, Orville was smart enough to bring in Doug Drexler, somebody that was very strongly attached with Enterprise and has a good respect and understanding of canon. So, you know, Star Trek should have scooped him up. They should have scooped up Michael and Denise Okuda.
Well,
Rick Sternbach says, you know, every time we tell him that, you know, Discovery's in Toronto, he's like, well, my passport's valid. He's ready to go if they need him. So,
yeah.
And I understand wanting to do something new, but at the same time, you know, these people aren't out to pasture. They're not like useless. They still love the franchise. They contributed so much to it. Their vision should be incorporated. So
it's like First Contact, right? First Contact is the first movie after generations where they used the old aesthetic. They said, right, we're going to make a new bridge, a new hero ship, new uniforms, new phase rifles. So it's like, let's make everything new. But they didn't say, let's throw out everything and do something brand new. They said, well, let's look at what existed and make something new. So Whereas Discovery is like, let's make something new and stamp on the past, but we'll put the sound effects in. But guess what? That's cheap, cheerful, simple, and different teams did it. You know, it's slim marks. It's also the wrong sound effect. You put Defiant Red Alert in pre-TOS. It's like, no, that was a Defiant sound effect. Leave them with oh no, you're in that. You know, different mentality. And as I've said, I hope that Discovery just sort of gets forgotten in a few years. It's flawed storytelling and such. But I mean, hey, if we had to get the 09 movie to get Beyond, which was definitely worth getting to, and if we had to have those films to get Discovery to then get the Picard and the new shows, like if Lower Decks is really the one we had to get, that's really the fun one, or the Nickelodeon one, or Picard. It's like we had to go through the Discovery. You know, it's like you had to go through all Enterprise Season 1 to get to Infinite Darkly. You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, we got 3 new super chats, but before I get to those, Richard Woodrow said, they effed up the last episode of Enterprise. I understand what they tried to do, but it was just yeah, it was trying to be like a love letter to Star Trek, an homage, whatever, and it didn't. And it should not have been a season finale or a series finale.
Well, it was a franchise finale at the time.
Yeah,
much,
that should. Yeah, that should have definitely been like a mid-season episode, and it would have been fine. Everybody would have loved it, actually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a real kick in the nuts to the Enterprise actors. They didn't get their chance to shine, and I know that Scott Bakula is quite bitter about that. So
well, no, I mean even the writers apologized. Like it's been a unilateral apology. And just before you do the super chats, wouldn't it have been interesting, a better way of doing it? So like you said, mid-season, whatever, because of the temporal Cold War. What if instead of the way they'd done it, first scene Enterprise D flyby, and like what, and then cut to Daniels walking through Enterprise D corridor, grabbing someone, beam him to the NX-01, and he's like, right, you have to be here to fix the situation. It's a TNG. It takes it's through the eyes of a TNG character, but he's actually in the NX era, and they don't know who he is yet. Why would they? He's from the future, and he knows who they are. Boom. Yeah. There you go. NX storyline. They done, and you get to see an Enterprise D shot. You get to have him, whatever. Maybe there's a moment when they pull him into the future. Scott Bakula, why not, for funsies, and maybe Daniels has to put him into the future, and it's actually on a holodeck because he has to keep him there for a few minutes, and then you see like Arch, and not just like what. Like, there you go, I've just given you a much better version of that story that would have been way more fun, Because who the hell wanted to watch Riker as chef talk to people for 20 minutes? I mean, who thought that was a good idea? I mean,
it was cool because we had never seen the character of Chef, so it's kind of like, you go into that persona in the holodeck. It's just, I thought that was interesting, but yeah, I agree with you.
It's a good concept, but everything about it was bad. It's like I love seeing the Enterprise D stuff. That's great because obviously, but yeah, everyone apologized though, so it's fine.
Yeah, let's get on to those super chats. We've got a few. Jeff Jacobs puts in 251 and says 50 likes in under 15 minutes. Again, at 100, hit like and I pay. 122 of you watching, by all means, hit like, get to 100 likes immediately. Make sure you're subscribed as well. It's very important.
Bell notification. Click it.
Yes. Tom Zeros, 48, puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
Someone once said, you get the community you deserve. So cheers to you guys. Oh, thanks, man.
We really do try. Thank you.
Who said that, though?
A smart man.
I'm interested. Fat Produce puts in $5. Thank you very much. The Transformers films getting better is like saying that the poop I took earlier was better because it wasn't diarrhea. Well, it's technically true.
Yeah.
I'd rather have solid poop than the diarrhea personally. So there you go.
Just have a whole live about
that. Fat Produce puts in $2. What Star Trek are you least excited for in 2020? Me personally? Oh, that's interesting because they all have something really interesting to give. Picard has the hope that we'll see other TNG characters. We'll see a continuation of the Prime timeline. We'll see Picard back. I mean, that's awesome. Discovery is now in the future, so they're not restrained by everything they didn't care about the first 2 seasons. So they can actually do some new Star Trek like stuff and explore new stuff. And then we got Lower Decks, and that just looks like fun, second contact mission. It's something that is going to be fun and exciting. So those are all something
smart.
To look forward.
Like probably the smartest of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then Nickelodeon.
I'm going to say, so what I least looking forward to so far is Nickelodeon, because we know nothing about it. Um, but out of those three, honestly, uh, that's tough because, like I said, they all have something exciting to offer. I'm probably going to say Lower Decks just because it's going to be more silly and goofy. And hopefully the other two smarten up, and hopefully Picard shines, and hopefully Discovery smartens up. So we'll have to see. But I'd say Lower Decks is probably the one I'm least excited for, even though I'm super excited for Lower Decks as well. Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take Nickelodeon out of the batch because you don't know anything about it. I mean, so we'll leave that out. Honestly, I think Discovery least excited for because, you know, you give it a chance, it fails. You give it a second chance, does better, and then it fails in storytelling. It's like it's the same team, you know. And I've said before, I'd rather they mess up the era they're in and then we just ignore it as non-canon than they go to the future and change. Like if they show the Klingons and actually really redo the Klingons, they'll say, well, that's how they're looking 800 years from now. And it's like, damn, that's now canon. Like, we can never conflict with that. Like, they're going to say, oh, the Federation was destroyed in 2770, and they're going to make all these grand statements that'll actually forever change the future, and they're not a smart team that doesn't make smart decisions for the most part. So it's they can do a lot of damage in the future. That's why I kind of hope they went to a different part of the galaxy, like the Gamma Quadrant. So it's so away. Because if it's just a story, like Discovery Season 3 should just be a crew in a solar system or a quadrant, or a sector, and they can't find out about what happened to Earth, they can't find out what happened to the Federation, they're stuck, there's no way of getting home. Story of these people dealing with aliens in the other part of the galaxy. Don't link to anything, don't see Klingons, Romulans, anything we know. Just be basically it's just then Star Trek Lost in Space without any connection to Star Trek, it just happens to be on Discovery. Then they can do whatever they want and they'll probably be quite good. But they've proven their lack of continuity consideration, despite their constant tens about it. And Picard is probably going to be less good than it should be. It'll be better than Discovery. And Lower Decks, I think, will blow everyone away with its just fun and good. With some stinkers, because I think they're going to do like a hit and miss thing. It's like, that story was not good, but it didn't turn out as good as they hoped.
Yeah.
You know, like some of TNG season 1 was just like, yeah, that just didn't work. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so which one are you least looking forward to, though?
Oh, Discovery.
Did you answer that?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, yeah, you did say it. Okay,
easily.
Cool. Yeah. Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian.
Hey.
The last episode of Enterprise was awesome. Archer's Beyond the Next Star speech is one of the Trek's best. That one off TNG episode they aired after didn't count. That one off, yeah. Okay, I'll buy that. But the thing that bothers me about the last episode of Enterprise really is we didn't hear Archer's speech to the Federation, to the Assembly, about making the Federation. That was like the build-up of this whole series. And he walks out, and that's the end. It's like, really? I felt like that should have been a two-parter at least. Maybe get one more episode out of that. Just saying. I don't know.
I mean, if it's one of those things, they could never have done it as good as you hope.
Yeah, exactly.
In your mind, so it's safer just not to. But at that point, I actually remember watching the episode for the first time. I went out to my only ever summer camp, and it was quite fun, like a old manor house with big grounds, and we were there for a week. It was my first away from the family for a week. And I came back and I'd missed it live, but it was on 2 days earlier, and there's no internet, there was no whatever, so I was like, because Intimira was good and Terra Nova was, I think, okay. I wasn't that, or whatever, I wasn't that fond of them. They're fine. I was like, okay, great, last one, And I got home, and parents hadn't even watched it, they didn't care that much, because it's not that good a show. I had a VHS tape, and I put it in, I started watching it. I remember just thinking halfway through, I'm like, this isn't good. And so by the end, that speech was like, you know, it's so lost you by that point that, you know, yeah. I don't know, what would have been your best, if you could swap the order around, what would be the best, last episode of Enterprise out of the actual lot they made? I'm not that big a fan of the last two. They're okay, other than the two before them, they're okay, but Terra Prime, not what I would have done. It's a good morality story, but not what I would have done.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the list of episodes and decide that, but
the Orion one.
Yeah. Well, hold on. We got one more super chat, real quick. Fat Produce puts in $5. I just want to see the Trek series where Leia is getting out of her photon tube on the Genesis planet. Wait, that's Rise of Skywalker. Uh-huh.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one I'd like. Honestly, I would have liked one that was unwritten, kind of with a established federation a few years in the future, which they did. They jumped to the future a little bit in the last episode, but it should have been like an established federation, a fleet, see some Daedalus class ships, some kind of solid bringing together of canon for that finale, and or heading to the Romulan War. It's like dun dun dun. Haha, you cancel this, bastard. You're not going to see that. That would have been interesting. Would have been annoying.
We did skip past the Romulan War. I mean, we did get the post. We got well past it into the Fandom Federation, but didn't reference Romulan War once. I don't think from that. It's like, oh, okay, well, great.
Yeah. Fat Produce puts in another $5. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enterprise should have ended with Scott Bakula leaping out of Archer's body with the end credits of Quantum Leap at the end. Yeah,
that would have been a solid awesome end.
After he forms the Federation, he's done what he's there to do. He's set things right. Yeah.
My work here is done.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
I like that. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I know a lot of people are saying I want all three of them to fail, and I don't agree with that. I kind of hate that mindset because you're going to make Star Trek fail as a result. If they see that it's...
For which, sorry? I was reading the chat.
A lot of people have said that they want all three to fail, and it's like I don't agree with that mindset because you're showing them that Star Trek is something you don't want, or at least not their Star Trek. They don't understand that their Star Trek and Star Trek are two different things. So when they see it's underperforming and not doing well, they're just going to say, "Screw it, you're not going to get Star Trek for a while." So I kind of want. I like that they're spreading out the feelers and doing a couple of different things to see what sticks. So to say just because you didn't like Discovery or you didn't like the direction they took with it, that you want it to fail, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, I mean, that seems bizarre to me. I mean, Episode 8 was a travesty for Star Wars, worst one easily, but I still want to see Episode 9. I still want to see Mandalorian. It's like a failure. You only learn by failing, especially these mega corporations. If you fail, well, Star Trek, the brand of Star Trek is never going to go away. It's made companies money, billions over the course of 50 years, and got a fan base that's so hardcore. At least it did have a fan base that was so hardcore. Not that Discovery really added to that too much. Same with the new Star Wars. Hasn't really imbibed the new generation with the same enthusiasm, but whatever. It's like they're going to be money makers for all of time if they're treated with at least a bit of respect. I mean, you look at Into Darkness, it was crap, but it made the money. But they cut the budget, made a better film beyond. Mistakes are how you improve. Look at Discovery Season 1. They got a shit... Because of the negativity, they'd made changes, and Season 2 is a lot better. If we had been silent, it would have been just as bad. So Season 3 is even better than Season 2. And Picard will be based on notes from that. I mean, they make mistakes, and you learn. It's just sad that it takes, a $32 million... lesson that really when other shows can be great from season 1. It's like, why was this season bad when it was more expensive than other shows? It's like I always compare to like Arrow season 1. It's a relatively low budget season, the first one, and it's a really good season 1, and they got it straight from the get-go. Why was another show that was half the cost way worse? It's like nowadays when you have years to write it and millions to fix it, and there's reasons, but
well, it's funny because the best Star Trek movies were the least funded.
Yeah.
Because the one before was a failure. Motion picture underperformed, so they gave Star Trek 2 less money. Far superior movie. So they threw a lot of money at Star Trek 3. Kind of underperformed. So they cut costs again for Star Trek 4. Star Trek 4 is one of the best Star Trek movies for even non-Star Trek fans. It's just it's this great movie, a great piece of film on its own. So it did well. So they threw a lot of money at William Shatner in Star Trek 5, and that.
Yeah, but he lost a lot of that money as well. Like that.
True.
That budget went all over the place. That's if they'd had more money, it would have been better. I guarantee.
Yeah, but I know they were really, really cost saving on Star Trek 6.
even so much like using TNG sets and not really redressing them too much. So, you know, they were saving a lot of money there. And again, superior movie. Like, it was the even numbered ones are the winners as far as those go.
Well, it's when writing overtakes action, because Star Trek isn't Star Wars. Star Trek isn't about the shooty boom boom explosions. You know, it shouldn't be. And it's well said by Len Nimoy that said back in like the 67 in an interview that I was told to punch somebody in a scene and I just refused. Instead I invented the neck pinch and I got out of a situation without violence. And then it cuts to Zachary Quinto just punching Khan. And it's like, as soon as you see this, it's like, no, this is wrong, because it's someone that misunderstands Star Trek and misusing it, and guess what? It bombs and doesn't connect with the audience. And then you cut to what's his name? Ethan Peck, kind of the hybrid. He does a martial arts style, you know, fancy neck pinch style, but if you look carefully, doesn't he hurt anyone? And you're like, okay, I get why. Like, there's levels of, okay, that makes sense. But different people, different franchises. And if you look at the dude that directed Rogue One, he really got it. That movie is authentic as hell. You know, it's got some flaws, but it's authentic as hell, and it feels like Star Wars more so than Solo did or the new films. Like, hands down, that is like, oh, like there's a reason there are watch parties where you start with Rogue One, you end with New Hope, because you can literally play them back to back, and they feel okay. Yes, Rogue One, New Hope is slower, but you could just watch them side by side because he put so much effort into making them feel cohesive.
Yeah. Hold on. There we go. Jill 47 though puts in $2. Thank you very much, Jill. Hope you're not driving, and if you are, hope you're safe.
Yeah,
Picard is life. Picard is love. We want Picard. Yeah, it seems to be the general consensus out of this question that we've asked, which people are looking forward to the most, and it seems to be Picard, and rightfully so, I think. Jarzia though throws in. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Carla Albanese says I can see Picard being low budget but good start at writing. Discovery will be high budget and poor writing. No, in fact, Picard has a massive budget, the biggest budget of any Trek show ever, and they actually lowered the Discovery budget a little bit this year, so it's kind of the opposite, which could be good for Discovery. You know, we're not giving you this massive end battle that was way too much and not well thought out.
Yeah, well, somebody in the chat, it's gone now, I can't find it, said higher budget equals overconfidence. It does. It also creates laziness. It's like, we'll fix that with special effects. No, if you're constrained by what you have available, you tend to work smarter. Not hard. I was going to say not harder. That doesn't make much sense. But you work smarter to make up for the deficiency.
You also can't bloat. I mean, there's a reason that the Star Trek II battle is so tension-filled and impactful. It's two ships, very few weapon strikes, each one meaningful. They look at the last episode of Discovery, the battle, and it's just garbage. It's just floating garbage that is meaningless. They invented noise, and it's like they probably spent millions more they could have put towards the rest of the season where, you know, they're running out of money. Or redressing the Discovery sets to look more like Enterprise, or building Enterprise sets. I mean, it's like just the complete lack of, you know. But it's just different people, you know. Which is why Deadpool is a great example of combination of correct, but obviously it was correct because it was commercial, people, it was a success across the board. It was lowish budget, cleverly spent, which means the script had to be absolutely incredible because they couldn't afford to do too much, but also the actors taking pay cuts to make sure it was going to work, real passion project, which meant they were aware of every day on set was important, and every scene was important, and every edit was important, and boom, it blows everyone out of the water. And Deadpool 2, which I'm assuming you've seen, Stuart?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's still a good movie, but it's less good than the first one because it is more bloated. He does a lot more stuff. It's a great ride, but it's less focused. It's a bit too, like, look, we've got money. Whereas it could have been a bit more trajectory, but it's still good. It's got good stuff, but it's like, you know, it's like I like Spider-Man Homecoming more. It's just way more focused. Second one's good too, but no, it's not quite as good.
I haven't seen the second one of that yet. Jarzia, though, puts in $5 Canadian. To expand on Foley's point, a lot of money-saving bottle shows ended up being some of Star Trek's best, like Jetrel and Eye of the Needle in Voyager Season 1. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Bottle shows are sometimes the best because they literally are cost-saving to get, you know, the big blowouts at the beginning and the end of the season. So they're so cleverly well written because they have to be a bottle show.
Well, they used to be.
Wow.
To be fair, like Calypso is the most bottle show they've had, and that was the best written.
Yeah.
But that Beverly episode where she's in a static warp shell, like that budget gets less and less expensive as the episode goes on. As the crew, less people to hire. Now it's just one actress on a single set that's been pre-lit. Like that episode is so cheap, and it's really well written. It's a good drama. And then you get, but that said, shows like Voyager. I think Voyager's a good example where the bottle shows. I always think of the episode where the Voyager is split up into multiple time zones. No new sets, lots of returning people, fine, but no new sets. And it's a very good episode. It's very creative. But you save money, and then you get things like Scorpion or Year of Hell. They save the money for the bottle shows that are actually still pretty good, and you get the really big shows for the time, which are really good. I think Voyager did the high budget and low budget very, very effectively. TNG, I think, a little less effectively, but that's just personal preference. Like Gambit, I don't think it's the best two-parter. It's interesting, but I don't think it's great.
Yeah.
Best of Both Worlds is different, but it's different for different reasons. Yeah, it's tricky.
It is tricky. So what are people saying in the chat? Last Enterprise episode idea, two-parter speech, an actual speech at the beginning. Yeah, the original plan was for like 7 seasons. They're ending after season 4. Yeah, start it with the formation of the Federation, do a two-parter, kind of explore the Romulan War, but in little documentary tidbits, like along the course of the timeline. Did I get cut off? I got cut off, didn't I?
I heard some of it. Romulan War documentary, yeah.
I mean, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Kind of sum up those last couple seasons, and they tried to do that in season 4. You can tell with Terra Prime and all that, because that was all planned for like later. I don't know. I think that could have been a lot better.
Although still on bottle shows, Dan23 says, Shuttlepod 1 is one boring episode of Star Trek Enterprise. As that is the most bottle show you could possibly do, Stuart. What do you think? Where do you stand on that?
Shuttlepod 1 is did he say it's worst?
Boring. Most boring episode.
I disagree. I actually really like that episode, especially because it built that friendship between the two of them, Malcolm and Trip. I actually love that episode for that reason. They're facing death together. I mean, that's something that's happened with people throughout history in World War II and all this. So I love that because it feels genuine. It feels like something real. It's not fancy. It's not extravagant. It's just simple. And that's one of my favorite episodes of Enterprise, actually. Boring? I don't really think so. Because I always put myself in this situation. Like, would I want to be cold or would I want more oxygen?
Yep.
I prefer more oxygen. I hate being cold, but I can see why they made that decision. So I didn't think it was boring.
And a lot of that dialogue felt effortless, like it was just people talking, which could seem like lazy writing in the sense that, it's just people having a conversation. But it's like, that means you buy into it so well.
That's life.
That's life.
Everyday life.
I mean, we all get stuck on a shuttle pod, lost in the middle of deep space at one point or another, guys. It's just inevitability.
How many times have you been stuck in a car with somebody for hours and hours and you need to have conversations?
Yep, 7-hour drives with you. 7-hour drives with you. We've done 4 of them now.
But you say that like it's a bad thing. I thought we had fun.
We did have fun. Just the number. I just hate the number, the 7. If it was like a 3, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like the Toronto drive's always good. That's like a good...
It's only like half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm saying, so it's always good. That's a good length.
Yeah. Fine.
I just don't drive that long.
Fat Produce, though, puts in $5. You want the king of low-budget sci-fi. Look no further than Babylon 5. It's all low-budget, but fracking awesome. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, it was very clever budget. It was spending it where it had to be. It's like, the sets only have to be dressed so far. But with a very clever set design and very distinct art design, it's like, where should the money be spent? On good actors, good makeup, because that makes the thing come alive, good CGI, because that'll stand us apart. But if this room is just grey with some splodges and a desk, but lit well, that's okay. That's okay. It makes sense. So I think they just spend it very well.
Yeah.
But once you buy into it, with lots of shows, you just buy into it. I mean, if you're watching a big, you know, like Gravity or Interstellar, right? or Armageddon, the spaceship sets, like Alien even, how much time are you spending looking at the scenery in the spaceship sets? So they've spent hundreds of hours building, designing, putting there. I mean, once you're bought into the world, you don't see it, you just see it as cool. You're not looking.
Yeah.
So if a show's got the writing, if you look at the actors, then the background shouldn't matter as much. You know, it's... You know, if Kirk and Picard... No, well, that'd be interesting. If Kirk and Spock are walking through a TOS corridor with a really good conversation, doesn't matter the walls are relatively bare. The conversation's good, and the cinematography's good, and the acting's good. That's the important thing, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Good tea, nice house puts in $5 Canadian. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to all things Trek in 2020. When it's bad, I'm rooting for it to get better. The next week, I can't go 12 years without Star Trek again. Well, you're never without Star Trek. I keep saying that. Even though they're making bad Star Trek, people are like, oh, it's not like, you know, for every bad episode they make, an episode of TOS disappears. You know, that's the joke I always make. Remember when there were seven seasons of TOS? I do. There's some great episodes in season 5, but guess what? They got deleted from history. You can never watch them again because they made bad Trek. That's how ridiculous the argument sounds that, oh, we don't have Trek. There's always the old Trek to fall back on, in my opinion. Jarzia, though,
and we've been watching TNG season 1, and you know, some of it for the very sort of first big rewatch for me. It's like, well, that's been a fresh new experience. I mean, you can't have that all the time, but the stuff exists, the quad does not diminish, and there's some great fan content out there that's really, really good, you know?
And when you actually look at it and analyze it a little bit deeper, like we have been with season 1, I've noticed things in season 1 that I've never noticed before, and I might have seen those episodes 20 times. And I just never noticed certain things. But because we're actually sitting down with that mindset of reviewing it and breaking down what people say, the things in the background, what the plot is, there's things that I've really latched onto this time that I really enjoy. It's like seeing it again for the first time. I always wish I could erase my memory and watch a movie the first time again, because that was such a great experience. But you can't. Yeah, every time is you need to look for different things. And I've noticed that with episodes of Star Trek that I've watched on TV, because they keep playing them on Space, which is now CTV Sci-Fi, which is stupid. But anyway, so when I'm not focusing on what the main actors are doing. I'm looking at the behind, the stuff behind. Like, oh, there's a mistake. Those people, I didn't notice that they were doing that. Little things like that. I just take a new approach to looking at it when I'm just casually watching it now. So, yeah, there's ways to enjoy it. Jarzia, though, throws in $5 Canadian. If anyone disliked Enterprise and hasn't seen it in years or since it ended, watch it again. It got better with age, and my third favorite series now. And I agree, Jarzia. I actually did a captain's log probably 2 years ago. It says I rethink Star Trek Enterprise because Sylvia and I rewatched it again. And first viewing, I tuned out during season 3 because Zindi, why they're creating a race when they have all this rich tapestry to draw from. So I tuned out during season 3, and a lot of people did, and I think that's one of the reasons that it got canceled. But going back and rewatching it, season 3 is amazingly well structured for an overarching story that's very well done. It's the best season of Enterprise by far. The writing is fantastic, the storylines are great, and it's one you need to rewatch. And I really do have a new appreciation for Star Trek Enterprise, having gone back and rewatched it. So, yeah, absolutely, I totally agree with you, Jarzia. Let's see. Enterprise had some minor continuity breaks. Discovery has some pretty major ones. Well, Enterprise also had some weren't so minor, but...
Well, I always say about Enterprise that they didn't continuity break. They just took what wasn't solid canon. They did their own take on it, but they tried to put it into the correct timeline. They actually tried to fit it in neatly. Like, it's not a phase, it's a phase pistol. Rather than saying, look, we can go warp 9, but every other ship can go warp 3. It's like, oh, good, great. At least they tried very fundamentally. Discovery did not try. They rejected that wholeheartedly. At least they tried. And if you watch it, it's like, yeah, it's just, how much of it breaks it.
Let's see, Enterprise was also a lot of producers got their hands in it going, we want this, we want this, we want this.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Doug Drexler and Michael and Scooter were like, no, it's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
But they had no choice because they weren't the ones pulling the purse strings. So they had to kind of follow suit and change a few things, and they made it fit as best they could. So I got to give them props for that, because at least you had people that actually cared about the canon and tried to make as much sense as possible, given the directives that they were given by the higher-ups.
What's happening in Discovery, they've been told to do stuff, but there's no one in the chain of command that's able to fix it enough. No, maybe season 2 a bit closer, but they should have been hired pre-season 1. There should be a filter, shouldn't there? There should be a filter of, would this fit into the canon, would this, whatever. We were told they hired continuity advisors by episode 6, which by itself means that all the designs have been not continuity appreciated. Like, what's the point there? Because it's all set in stone at that point. And then we've got season 1 and 2. It's like, really? Well, come on, Stuart. Time crystals. Ridiculous. On a Klingon planet. Really? Time suits designed by Section 31 10 years before Kirk that can unlimited time travel through wormholes. It's like, nope. Nope. Not for a second. Nope. And they have stealth fields that can cloak the ships like asteroids. It's like, nope. They don't have holographic. No, that's not in pre-TOS, mate. You've screwed the pooch there, mate. Doesn't work. Sorry.
Yep. I agree with that.
And Richard Woodrow says, I wonder if in a few years people will rewatch Discovery and find an appreciation for it, i.e. Enterprise. The problem is, Enterprise is just a bit dull. It's never bad, really. Discovery has a lot of bad and some good. It's like, it's not the same sort of situation. I think random people will find it in the future. The aren't Trek fans will be like, oh, it's a fun show. I binged it in a weekend and forgot about it. But it was good while I watched it.
Yeah.
But you won't get the same massive audience because there's just not this meat you can look at. So it won't be a thing. It's like Into Darkness. It won't be remembered years on. It just will be forgotten, and it made money at the time and then move on. Whereas Picard is such a continuity thing. It fills into so much that it will be remembered full time, because it has to be, because it's diving into this really important part of the timeline, maybe.
Yeah. Apparently Enterprise and Discovery.
Also, Stuart, your internet is absolutely awful. I thought it'd get better, but your mic is awful. It's just your signal, because we're still streaming at perfect quality. I'm looking great. You're just extremely. Don't know if you want to close Skype and call me back.
Sure.
Sometimes works. Bye. So now it's just me, guys. Then, and ask me a cheeky question while he's away. Hello. Obviously, I'm just, all my opinions are my own. Disclaimer. But I always think that I can justify my opinions that I find quite important. I can, you give me a question, and I can, I can make it make sense. Cheeky, whatever you want, Ron. Whatever you want. Look at this sexy blue background. Let's see. The time was a slog. The boy band. Yeah, the boy bands. Ding, ding, ding.
Hello.
Yeah, much better.
Ah.
All dem sound qualities.
Well, I'm sorry my audio was shit.
You're welcome.
I fixed it.
Yeah, sorry. I really wish I could plug your direct microphone into the Skype, into the OBS, because we have such good microphones.
Yeah, I know.
Skype doth compress so much.
Rest in peace, headphone users. Why? What happened?
I guess Dum 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 was loud. Hi, Wade.
Oh, probably. What's the problem with time crystals in Klingon? There was also a Klingon scientist that helped Janeway in traveling through time. Yes, there was. That was the only kind of tie-in, but...
And he just used time tech. I mean, it's just technology. He didn't use a crystal and have time set in stone, even though they changed it. It's like... One's mumbo jumbo, one's a dude invented technology, like many people do and did. you know, it's like the Guardian Forever would be magic if you didn't realize someone just built it years ago. Like, it's just tech, but in a weird stone construction. It's just technology. You know, how's the time suit powered? A time crystal. What's that? It's a crystal that lets you travel in time. Right. How? Shut the fuck up. Yes, sir. It's just.
I love that.
It's like, why wasn't it just like time energy? If it was, you know, if the crystal was just a holder of energy, like tachyon energy, the tachyon energy could be transferred to a buffer. The buffer could then be used like a fuel source, and then you could channel it into a generator. Like, if you do the steps of tech, that's called technobabble. It's like if, I don't know. I don't know. Just dumb. They thought it was fun. They thought it was, yeah. But anyway, which Star Trek are you most looking forward to in 2020? So you said Lower Decks the least and Picard the most, Discovery the middle.
Yeah. Even though I'm really looking forward to Lower Decks, so you can't judge that. I see potential for Discovery being something new, but yeah, it's kind of kicked a lot of people while they were down, and I can see the dislike for it. But
if it's a good story, then that's all we really want. Is a good story.
Yeah,
that's all we want, guys. That's all we want.
Lizzie Smith puts in $1 or £1.99 and says, "Why are you so blue?" I don't understand. What happened?
It's because when you went away, my desktop's blue, so we went very, very blue.
Oh.
Da ba dee doo ba da. We went blue.
We were blue because I was gone. That makes us sad.
It's poetic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Joseph Petrick puts in €2. Thank you very much, Joseph. I'm so hyped about Picard. I forgot about Discovery. And Jill47 is saying, Picard! I think that's the thing. A lot of people have forgotten about Discovery. They didn't highlight it at Comic-Con. They didn't highlight it at Vegas. Nothing. They know what side their bread is buttered on right now. So they are showing off what people are interested in and kind of avoiding talking about Discovery. So I'm looking forward to a trailer for season 3 of Discovery, but who knows when that'll happen. Could be good. Who knows?
And Clopo Roso asks, weren't there crystals involved with the Janeway time thing? No, there were not. I like that you just brought up the trailer thing, because I think this is a great excuse for them to fix Discovery as well, because they can't use Spore Drive now because all the reasons they were phasing it out, you know, like the Spore Drive can also go through time. If you've got it, it's like, why don't they just go back home? Why don't they just, because they did go back in time because they jumped from the mirror universe to our universe in time, whatever. So what if, because they don't need the Spore Drive, they managed to come on, the ship can do anything. It's a who cares ship. What if they actually actively reconstruct the engines and shrink them and fill in the saucer? Because if you're stuck in the future, do you really want the limitations of a ship? Wouldn't it be kind of cool if I guess we know it takes place a few seconds after, but it would be kind of fun if. Wouldn't it be fun if because it's time shit, we know that we literally see Burnham, boom, she's on a planet she shouldn't be, takes place right after. But wouldn't it be fun if the Discovery herself had been stuck in the future already a year, and the crew had made new dynamics, the ship had already been tweaked and modified, and the Spore tech was redundant, so they cut the nacelles in half, they filled in the saucer. So it's still at work bees, although I guess you've now got a minimal crew because half people chose to stay back. And
Well, I just want to address Hawkins. He says, what does dilithium actually do? And that's a very good question. Fortunately, someone I know has written a script all about dilithium, which we'll be filming shortly. And you'll see an episode on dilithium and exactly what it does in the process in the future. So stay tuned.
If I'm right, it's a focusing crystal. Its crystalline structure helps to channel energy in a certain way. So it's just like a lens. It doesn't do anything. Yes. It's a lens that allows something else to happen safely.
It enhances the warp reaction to get higher warp velocities. Essentially, it's
Because Zephyr Cochrane did it without dilithium. Dilithium is not native to Earth. So you can do warp without it. It's just limited to what you can do.
Yep.
See, I know shit, Stuart. I know a couple of things. That's probably as far as I can go, but I know some stuff.
It's a good script. I can't wait for you to read it because we need to film it soon.
Excellent.
I got some super chats. So Abby Bab puts in $2 and says, "I want it all, and I want it now." Queen and me.
Although that said, before you do, put in the comments now or the chat. Do you want? And I've got an easy yes or no. Do you want to see these 3 shows dropped week on week or all in one go like Netflix does? Stuart, which one?
Dropped all in one go.
Oh, do you? Oh, why?
Just for my viewing non-frustration. Yes. For as far as reviewing goes, definitely weekly would be nice.
It would really ruin our 2020 if it all comes out at the same time. Like, well, there we go. Because you can't do theories. You just can't do theories. So I need them week by week. And the fact is, I remember Discovery more than I remember other shows because I watched them week on week. You know, I was forced to live the experience, and I remember, coming downstairs, fresh Monday morning, having some caffeine, having a breakfast thing, and the first thing I do is watch Discovery, so I get ready for film with you 2 or 3 hours later. Like that was an interesting experience. Like, it was fun to have. You know?
Yeah. Yep. And Jersey puts in $5 Canadian. If the time crystal idea was done properly, they'd call it a chronoton lattice crystal. And it would be a means of focusing time tech like dilithium. Absolutely.
Yep. And they would not be in a goddamn planet. You'd make them limited. They were, formed with some time event from the future. And there's only like one room of them, and therefore they can't be replicated. Once they're used for 10 travels, they're destroyed. Like, you make them really interesting so that they explain they're never in canon again. Perfect. Like, wouldn't it be kind of fun if there's a crystal that you could literally just swap with dilithium with a few tweaks, and you could travel anywhere in time because it was that useful. It was just a focusing of chronotons, but it had limited. It shattered as you used it, and so the further back forward you went, the more it cracked. So I only have like 2 journeys and it dies. And there's only 10 crystals in the world. That would be a really wonderful creation and limitation of a technology. Perfect. Yeah. Imagine the tension as well. It's like we need to go 1 more hour in the future. No, sir, that'll crack the crystal even more. It's cool.
And if you shatter the crystal, the chance of you getting the time you want is it's skewed. Get put like way far ahead or whatever. That's fantastic.
Which would have been a great reason why they got back to the future and didn't know where they were going. But it's not difficult.
Super Coops though puts in £10, so thank you very much.
Oh wow, generous, thank you.
I did a 2-year Trek-a-thon, watched all available Trek, then started again. This time introducing it to my wife to Trek. She has now seen TOS and TNG. Watched Generations tonight. We'll start DS9 tomorrow.
Holy hell!
Good job.
Well,
awesome.
Let us know in our Thursday Super Chat Live what she thought of Generations. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please do. Very cool.
Tech has a lot of scientific BS, but at least tries not to sound like magic. Yes.
Well, I mean, come on. We've talked to Rick Sternbach 1 billion times. He's asked stuff at conventions, point blank. How does this work, Rick? And he gives a genuine explanation. He's making up on the spot / putting his info together. But he's trying to create a Trek explanation. It's not just, well, time crystal. How does it work? Well, power source. How does it work? Well, cloaking field. It's like, yes, but we're not Star Wars. How does hyperspace work? It just does. And now with fuel! Because that was never a thing for 42 years.
Yep. But if they had those time-traveling crystals, then why Kirk had to fly the bird of prey around the sun, LOL, to go back in time? Because that's a scientific phenomenon which is plausible, using the slingshot effect to get the correct velocity to travel back in time. So that's what Star Trek tries to do, is focus on actual real-world science and theories.
Yeah, it's just gravity makes time. Gravity can make time travel at different rates, or perception of time, which is absolutely insane.
Perception, yeah.
But I mean, perception of time is all that matters, because if your body's traveling at a different time state, then that perception is also what's affecting you. I mean, as I said yesterday, people in the space station are aging slightly differently to people on Earth because the gravity differential is enough different that it's changing how your body works slightly.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I have an episode written on warp. which I think we filmed actually. No, we filmed Warp Core Ejection. But we're talking about, actually, it's on Impulse, the Impulse drives, and how the time dilation up to like the maximum impulse speed can only be so much, because after that you can go faster, but then time dilation is so much that the aging and just all the clocks need to be reset on the ship. I actually talked to Rick Sternbach about it and got some inside notes from him about it. So
yes.
That's the script I'm currently working on. So that's something else you guys can look forward to. Those are the new kind of Trek Yards tech stuff that we're going to be presenting soon.
Yeah.
So
technology, good stuff.
Yep.
But I mean, that's why people say that the closer you get to the speed of light, time changes. That's why, guess what? Warp is a different dimension. Hyperspace, a different dimension. Transwarp, different dimension. Slipstream, self-created bubble of something. I mean, these aren't actually traveling the speed of light, because that gravity and time and all affects. There's two shows that use that. Stargate Atlantis used an episode where an ancient ship, it pushes its engines to the sublight max and it gets almost close to the speed of light, because they just need to get somewhere quick. Unfortunately, it time dilates and it takes them 10,000 years, and it would, but at least they're getting there. It seemed redundant at the time. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And the other one is Andromeda. It's a ship that travels near the speed of light, and the ship is, the ship is from the past, because it's a very inefficient way of traveling. But they were exploring, but they knew they were never going to get back to Earth. So it doesn't matter if time is 100 years per 100 light years. On Earth. Yeah. It doesn't matter, because they've already committed to a generation trip. So that was an interesting concept,
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs puts in 351, 100 in an hour, again at 150, hashtag excited fan likes Spike. We have 162 of you here. We should get to 150 likes easily. Hit like. Make sure you're subscribed for those episodes that I've talked about that the scripts are done for. We need to film and put together and edit and then release them. But there's lots of cool tech stuff coming up on the channel. So if you guys are interested, make sure you're subscribed. If that subscribe button is red, click it, because that's a bad thing when it's red.
I certainly like the tech stuff. And guys, we're at 110 likes. A brilliant 158 people watching, which is great. I'm glad lots of you are joining us back.
I got 162 people watching, so
there you go. So do click like, as Jeff said. He likes to encourage people to like by super chatting. He's a crazy man, but it does help the analytics. Like, there's a legitimate number to algorithm ratio.
I realize why my signal's probably so bad. I'm uploading a video to YouTube that I forgot about. But it's like 8 minutes from being done, so hopefully in 8 minutes it'll clear up. My bad. Samuel's like, oh, you stupid bastard. But anyway. So who is excited for Lower Decks? I mean, we did a whole live on that, talking about the Vegas panel, and yeah, exactly. The second contact team, they go in after the first contact teams have done their thing, and they, as they said, check out where the best place to get coffee is, and all the stuff dealing with the inhabitants of a planet after first contact. So I'm looking forward to that one quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things coming out in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, Lower Decks is an example of creative storytelling, because it's not live action, so whatever you want to do is doable. It's not the big hitter. It's not got the biggest budget. It's not got the biggest stars. It's, what are these 22 stories we can tell that are fun, that also don't respect the universe? And they were clear to say in the panel that Orville does its thing, we'll do our thing. The very nature that Star Trek is serious means that our comedy will be more serious. We're not doing slapstick, which I was hoping we wouldn't. Rick and Morty, for all its dumbness, there's a reason for everything. Yeah. And therefore it's not dumb jokes. It's, a fart joke can still be a character moment if it's important for the character, which seems weird. But you can have very good, dumb shows that are actually very smart. Or at least it's all part of a plan. And so I hope that Lower Decks isn't just a stupid comedy, because then it can be dismissed as, it's like, I know you were looking forward to it, we've talked about it before, but that Seth created a Star Wars show, not Seth MacFarlane, the other Seth Green, the spoofy Star Wars one with the big heads and the dumb one. For me, that sort of diluted the brand a bit too much, where it's just stupid for stupid's sake. Whereas Robot Chicken is kind of like a bit more serious. It's slapstick, but it's like in a more serious format. in the sense that it's like serious skits that are just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars kind of has that already with the Lego Star Wars movies, the Lego Star Wars games. It's retelling of the stories plus added on stuff that's just silly for the sake of being silly because it's Lego Star Wars.
Yes.
But it's really well done.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the Seth Green show at some point. They I forget what it's called offhand, but anyway, they had like so many episodes done and they just haven't released it.
I think like 78. It was like we literally
something
finished
ridiculous.
3 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different levels. Like some are done. Some are like be animated. Some are fully voiced.
Yep.
That was a weird one. So I think Lower Decks is really good potential, especially if they also make the characters important. Like if you actually like the characters by the end of it, because then you can also get a multiple season character narrative. Because I think modern storytelling does demand. Star Trek should be episodic, beginning, middle, and end, with an overriding arc, which has a cool story, even if it's as simple as this character needs to get from A to B. That's the arc of the season. There you go. It should be character based, but also having mini arcs whereby these 6 they're trying to do this the main arc, but you get a resolution for these 6, or it's a character resolution. Like you can have all those things. It doesn't just need to be a hard reset. It doesn't just need to be a whatever. And it's animated. You can reshoots are easier with animated.
Yeah.
So they can say, we got to episode 22 and let's tweak a thing in episode 16. There's more flexibility there.
Yeah. Well, Stormhawk 427 makes an interesting point. Lower Decks could poke fun at common Star Trek tropes without being an outright parody, and that's exactly what they're going for, which I'm looking forward to, because there's so many interesting tropes in Star Trek that we bring up all the time. That if it's done cleverly, it'll be amazing.
And we said that exactly. And Sick Brain says, nobody's talking about another animated show for Nickelodeon. We did quite a bit. Sorry, go back and have a look. And
that was early on. We mentioned it, yes.
And Richard Woodrow says, we know when Lower Decks time zone is. I think it said it's either 2, 5, or 7 is after Nemesis. There's so many things happening now. I think I've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi 8 years after. There's so many of those. I think it's like 2 years. It's pretty soon. It's like it's the next thing. Like the next thing after Nemesis, which is exciting. And I asked the question about that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Joseph Petrick, though, says Steve Shive has a good podcast, and he does. What happens on the Lower Decks during the major episodes? So what the bridge crew is doing. Now you see it from the Lower Decks perspective. And that's exactly what I believe Lower Decks is going to be about, because the captain and stuff aren't the main characters. It's the ensigns, the new guys that... So you'll see the main characters running around like something crazy is going on, or the ship's rocking. I can see silly things happening, like some guy working on a model or something, and then all of a sudden the ship gets attacked. You know how they always do that. And just everything scattered on his table, and be like, damn it. Because I always wonder that, you see the stuff in their quarters, all the fragile stuff on the shelves, and it's like, do they have like some kind of force field that holds it in place when the ship's rocking? Because otherwise you go back to your bridge go to your quarters after like a duty shift where shit just happened, and you're like, everything's broken. Throw it in the replicator, re-replicate it.
Such a good point. Love it. AC
Castillo, though, puts in $2. I can't be so chatty today because of work, but showing love. So thank you very much, AC Castillo. Anything helps.
We love you too.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think the whole point of the show is the way the idea of the second contact, that is making fun of a trope. But the fact is, you can make fun of a trope and yet make an entire story point. Like they were saying in the panel, it's like, well, what's the favorite restaurant on that planet? And
bye, Donnie.
Oh, bye. Have a good one.
That's right.
There's great concepts. Star Trek is such a broad universe. It's amazing. More hasn't been done with it in a more flexible sense. Yeah. You could do an entire episode with like phaser laser tag. On off days, people people go to the armory and just rip them off the rack because it's just a laser tag setting, the lowest setting.
Set on low stun or tingle or something.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
just play holodeck laser tag with actual full phases. And there's a story about them one day, and there's a prank that went wrong. A dude put his phase up too high, and it knocked him out for like 6 months. And it's like, well, shit. Like you can make a whole story for 2 days, and then there's you can do plots with that, or just go in the holodeck, and 1 billion stories from that. I mean, this is post TNG, so you got a lot of stories that can exist.
Remember back in the early days of the holodecks where they always went glitchy and tried to kill people? Glad those things don't happen anymore.
Cut to Klingon beaming in and shooting them, and it's like, whose program is that? It's like, yeah.
Good tea, nice house puts in $2 Canadian.
Thank you. Hey, man.
In lower decks, just make sure they have 5 fingers.
I
I think they do, actually.
don't know. Let me go back and look. I'm not sure if they do, actually.
Super Goops puts in £5.
Thank you.
Sam, she liked Generations but was upset the Enterprise was destroyed. She liked seeing Kirk and company again. I created a new fan for sure, guys. That's awesome. Glad she liked it.
Good. Thanks for the very quick follow-up. Wow, okay.
Now, is she a Trek Yards fan? That's what's important.
Lower decks. Where's the L? It's not there. Okay, I haven't moved on over yet.
When the ship gets rocked, all the toilet water spills on the floor. Well, they probably have sonic toilets. Because water, you don't want that happening, so who knows?
Yeah. Right, let's have a look. They've got 4 fingers and a thumb. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't often do 5.
I was pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Because the amount of animation time you save by having to do less fingers legitimately mounts up. Huh. At least people have said things.
Yeah, so can we make Jeff pay for more likes? Says Ron. We'll get it to 150.
Yeah, click that
If you
like
haven't-
button.
If you haven't hit it before I die. Oi. There we go.
I want to see
130
likes. Click like.
So yeah, lots of goodness coming in 2020. Hopefully early 2020. I don't. And are they gonna hit us like all at once? You think? Like, we got Picard, Discovery, and Lower Decks. So I think they're gonna bring Picard in first, or are they gonna lead off with this? I think they'll probably lead in with Picard, and then Discovery, maybe a month later. Like, they're gonna be running these shows concurrently, because that's gonna double our workload. But I guess it'll be worth it. So I don't know when they're being released. There's no actual release date yet. Plus, we still have Orville as well. So we're gonna be busy, but we're gonna love it. I think, love it and hate it all at once.
Yeah, if they just do better. I mean, my guess is that I'm kind of surprised we didn't get a short treks this month. I'm guessing that they're saying, right, we've got six short treks, and we need them to be each month until release. We can't have a month out, so until we know which month the first show's coming out, we have to wait on the short treks because no one's expecting them until they come out. So when those start rolling out, then right, 6 months till the show. And my guess will be Picard first because that's actually further on production. And then I guess Discovery would be after that, or Discovery be wait a bit longer. You could have Picard, then Lower Decks, then Discovery, because they said they want to have a year with constant trek. I can imagine that maybe Discovery takes the most time to produce because it'll have a lot of post and it's not being rushed like Picard is. So you put Lower Decks in between, get different fans. Discovery is the least interesting of the children. It comes out after because you don't really want simultaneous shows because in the old market it cuts your viewer base, but considering it all will be on CBS All Access presumably for America, then really they want the numbers, but you want people to stay subscribed. So they want them, CBS All Access needs monthly, whereas Netflix, it's like there's so many things you can watch. CBS is pretty limited really on stuff, certainly new stuff. So I'd expect if it's 22, well it's not, I guess, if say it's 13 episodes for each season. We know that Lower Decks was announced as 24, then load like 13, whatever. So if it's all 3 shows, you've got almost a full year's worth of TV, and then you add shorts in between. So I'm sure they're going to film Picard shorts and shorts in between. So they could have a new show every single week in 2020 if they play their cards right, especially considering if, say, the first 4 weeks are the shorts, or first 2 months, 3 months. It's tricky.
I love how you're saying film Picard shorts. That got me thinking. I want to see a series of shorts called Tilly Booty Shorts.
Yeah. And you can imagine the prop auction after the fact. Today we're selling 63 different versions of Mary Wiseman Trouse's shorts from the episodes of Star Trek Booty Shorts, the short-lived prequel series of Tilly's activities in the academy, her volleyball tournament, and every episode I have a new pair of shorts because reasons. Only on CBS All Access, coming June 2020. Stuart will spoof his IP to America on 7 different accounts and just watch it all the time on 7 different computers just to give them ratings.
Wow, you just took that and ran with it. I just came up with a basic plot, idea, and you just...
I'm creative, man. I'm creative.
Yeah.
But I think, you remember them saying they want to do potentially all the time Trek, and if they can plan shorts out in between as well. Like I've said, they should definitely Pike shorts. Like, that makes most sense, give them a Pike short series. Release a Blu-ray of just like 20 Pike shorts. 10-minute episodes, 15-minute episodes, 20-minute shorts, creative stories. Perfect. Good way of doing it. Can you imagine though, if you have Picard first, in between you have Pike shorts season 1, and then suddenly at Lower Decks for 13 weeks, and Pike short season 2, and then Discovery at the end of the year, which then comes back into Nickelodeon start of the next year, and more Pike shorts. We might never get a week off, Stuart.
As long as we have viewers that are going to watch what we do, I'm happy with that.
Yes.
Here for you guys. We sacrifice our lives for you.
God, Discovery season 2, I was doing a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of,
Ron Sarna says, P.S. Got the DLC. Message me if you are up for a game tonight, Foley. I just might be, Ron. Glad you got the DLC. You will enjoy it. I might play Bridge Crew later tonight. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'll probably do some tomorrow night and the night after, though, because we're not doing actual lives those days. Or no, tomorrow and Friday, probably, to kind of have something extra for you guys to watch. But we'll see. So glad you got it, Ron, though. It's really worth it. Everybody's talking about the sonic toilet now and how it would work. The brown note toilet, I think the toilet's kind of like a replicator, because it it turns your as the sanitation engineer on the Enterprise told the kindergarten class, we recycle everything. So as soon as it hits like the one layer of like a force field, it disappears and ends up in somebody else's replicator like 2 decks over. As tea, like instantly. That's how they work. Holodeck scrubber, worst job ever. There was a Clerks reference similar to that. I get so sick of that joke. Cleaning the holodeck, because any matter in the holodeck can be taken away when the program ends, because it's basically used as replicating systems as well. So anyway. Jill47 puts in $2. Do I have to watch The Child tonight? Heavy sigh. Samuel's saying no, even though he told me that Thursday we were going to be doing the first episode of season 2. What?
No, I said we're doing your idea, which is the talking about the episodes as if we haven't researched them yet, and that fun thing.
Okay, yeah. So no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'll save you the agony of watching The Child until soon after.
Yes.
Soon you'll have to watch it.
Yes, very soon, just not that soon. Yeah, we'll be doing the Drunk Trek Yards. I was told to make sure it's on Saturday, not Sunday, because people don't have work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Saturday the 28th. And if we can confirm that, then I'll make a little video saying that's when we're doing it, so people know. Because we want as many people to join us as possible. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And if I can time real life as well, I might do a Trek Yards live stream as pre-drinks, then go out with a friend on the Saturday night.
Nice.
Yeah, because we do it early in the day so everyone can join. So it'll be kind of like a afternoon and then morning for LA. It's 11 in the morning and they're having shots. It's like, well, it's not 11 where we are. It's only
That's
1
right.
where you are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sick Brain puts in $2. Chances for Disco or Picard movie after the merge. Very, 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 very slim. I don't think there'll be a movie on either of those franchises.
Because movies are tricky, because unless it's cinematic release, you don't get the money back in the same way.
Yeah.
Whereas a season, especially in a monthly service, you want monthly watchers. So make 12 episodes, you get 12 months, boom, done. That's per person. A movie, you get one thing. But I'm sure they're going to make a new... I'm sure the Tarantino movie's still chugging along, maybe. Like, they... Now with the... combination... there'll be a movie because you want to grab random people. You can put trailers for the new Star Trek movie, and that'll get average people to say, "Oh, I'll watch." I mean, how many millions of people just look on their phones or in the newspaper if you're that old, or on the internet, and say, "Oh, what movies are out this week? A Star Trek movie? Yeah, I'll go look at that. My dad likes Star Trek," and they go watch it and love it. So you need that people as well. Whereas a CBS All Access show is very niche, very specific. Yeah. That's why they really should have made a Star Trek show for Star Trek fans, because guess what? If they'd done that, then all the Star Trek fans would just have gone on the network and paid for it, and you'd have had funded Star Trek for a while, and then you'd sell the Blu-rays, and you sell other streaming services, and, Samuel, I ask again, Space Engineers, any designs or thoughts? Yeah, I saw that, Wade, but I mean, the game, I think I played the game for a few minutes once.
Yeah,
does it mean Space Engineers from Prometheus? They're just called engineers.
No, I think he's talking about the game.
I played it a bit once. I think I found a thing. I don't know what. I was years ago. I played Kerbal Space Program more. You ever played Kerbal, Stuart?
Played what? Sorry.
Kerbal Space Program.
No, I have not.
Fun. It's more dying than ever. Like, you die way more than you ever succeed.
You learn from failure.
Yeah.
Space Engineers is a fantastic game when it works properly. I'll take your word for that. But yeah, that's one thing we didn't mention in this 2020 look forward is the Tarantino thing, but I don't think it'll be in 2020. But I am looking forward to that if it ever becomes a reality. I'm just looking to see the interesting take that or approach that would be taken in that regard. So that's something else I'm very excited for. Right. Let's do this. Let's everybody rate the order you want to see these in. I know it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of Picard, Lower Decks, and they won't even mention Discovery probably. But
leave it up to them to see. I mean, there are lovers for all of them. There absolutely are, and they're actually good things.
Stick Brain says the really important question is what is Stuart drinking? I am drinking Sleeman's. Right there, Sleeman's Original beer.
Ooh. Old M booze.
I also have some Heineken up in the fridge too, but
this is why we're excited for the drunk one, because I'm going to have many bottles and many glasses, and hopefully it'll be cooler by then, so they'll be nice. And Team MRHS says, since the Solar Empire has Trek mods, yes, we've actually talked about it. We've had Max Loaf, and looked at a couple of ships from it as well. And I definitely want to look at more ships from them as well. They have some really cool Klingon like hybrid Enterprise Zero ones, which that's from the Klingon War mod. I like a lot of their designs. It's like taking the existing pieces and then making something new. Good team over there. Good team.
So I was right. There's Picard, Lower Decks, Pass on Burnham.
Picard's Lower Decks, anything else in 2020, and then Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery, but definitely all three to an extent. Kenobi, Orville, Picard, Lower Decks, NCIS, Discovery, but yet no Mandalorian on your list there, Robert Hayes.
Oh
I'm
dear.
really looking forward to the Mandalorian for sure.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now guys, write in the chat. This time, add Orville into the list. And if you want to add Mandalorian, that's up to you if you're a Star Wars fan. So rate those 5 now. Type in the chat. We've got a really active chat right now, which is absolutely amazing. Add Orville, add Mandalorian. Give us your score or which order for those. I'm interested to see.
And we got a few super chats. So we're gonna get to those real quick.
Super.
Chat. Sick Brain puts in $2. Chances for Discovery or Disco. I already said that. Movie after the merge. So I already answered that one, didn't I? Yes. Jarzia, $5 Canadian. Picard, greater than Lower Decks, greater than Discovery, or just that's the order. Hopefully, all three are good. But if not, I'll make my own Star Trek show with blackjack and hookers. Also, I approve of the Sleemans. Thank you.
Well, I think we can ignore the blackjack and the hookers, just have the good Star Trek. But you know, it's all good. It's all good.
You can never ignore blackjack and hookers.
What
John Holland.
What a black hooker called Jack. I mean, you just have
Oh, yeah, I can ignore that. No, thank you. John Holland puts in $2 Canadian.
Thank you.
Subscriber, but first time on live chat. Love it. Well, welcome, John. Thank you very much for subscribing and for joining us for the live. We do these every week, so make sure you tune in. They're fun.
Yeah, we love talking to the people, and I do recognize your name. I think you've commented before. Thanks for saying hi, and also saying hi with Super Chat. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Tomty, $5. I love imagining working and living in space, so I hope Lower Decks will scratch that itch, but I'm most excited for Picard. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say about an hour ago. I forgot. Isn't it funny, though, that one of the pitches for Discovery was, we're going to see the crew that aren't on the bridge, you know, the more like Lower Decks. And it's like...
Oh, yeah, it won't focus on the captain.
Yeah, but Burnham's more important than any captain ever. It's like you don't rebalance that.
She's on every away mission.
Yeah, it's like if the guy, the Riker lookalike, the Riker actor-like from Lower Decks was actually like the captain's assistant and Worf's best friend and, you know, the genius prodigy in engineering and was, you know, it's like, but it's not interesting if he's the best person ever. What an absolute fail of that pitch. Like, because they compared to Lower Decks too. It's like, no, they're all in the bridge. Or the spore room. To wit, you got the guy who invented the spore drive there. These are not unimportant people. Like... Tilly was fast right out of the academy before she was ready. Therefore, she's important. It's like, come on, you know. Yeah. Weird.
Morden is alive. Picard, Lower Decks, stepping in dog poop, then Discovery.
That poop can be pretty good sometimes.
And Jarzia, actually, Expanse, Picard, Mandalorian, Orville.
And let me hit some non-super chat versions. Jeff Jacobs, Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery, but definitely all three to an extent.
Read that already.
Robert Hayes, Kenobi, Orville, Picard, Lower Decks, okay, I'm a little bit too far up.
That's okay.
That's okay. Not a Mando guy. Picard, Lower Decks, Orville, Picard, Pike, Treks, Discovery. Okay. Mandalorian, Picard, Lower Decks, reruns, paint drying, Discovery. Okay. Jarzia,
love these answers, guys. These are good.
Picard, Mandalorian, Orville, and so on. That's interesting. That's an interesting set. Picard, lower Orville, Pike, Mandalorian, Disco. Says Carlo. Picard, lower Orville. Okay, it's interesting. Actually, how excited are you for Orville this coming year? Well, no, not maybe this coming year. Maybe in 2020 or 2021.
I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
Orville's great. It's got everything I love.
Yeah. And Robert Hayes says, should add Red Dwarf, but I'm not sure if that's this year or next. Well, it's not, they haven't filmed it yet, so it's probably either the end of next year or the start of 2021.
Yeah.
Because they do actual live screenings, so you can get tickets for it. So you know when they're filming, like, very explicitly, because they have, like, open scripted open things.
Yeah. Jerry Ryan's old Borg piece looks a lot better than the new one. The new one looks more fake. Do you agree? Yes. It's very, very dark, but somebody asked if we've ever talked about Stargate, so I don't know. Have we? I don't think we've mentioned it.
I did last Monday and yesterday, or day before. Yes,
And we've done a lot of fleet yards on Stargate ships, so
Yes, good. Oh, we said Stargate Universe specifically, not specifically.
oh,
And we haven't done any ships from it, although we should definitely do a Destiny one at some point. Although I'm sure you're gonna not crap all over it, but it's you know.
you have such no faith in me. So
Well, the amount of times I've had you complain about it's just another grey brick with stuff on it. I mean, you're not wrong, but obviously it's like when you look at it with the story context as well. But it's like, that's why I like the first one the second one I ever gave you. Like, I was like, this show is not gonna work, is it? And then it's really cool. And you're like, oh, it's awesome. We really expanded beyond that, which is great.
yeah. I love the Destiny actual solar power. I didn't think the Destiny was a brick at all. I thought it's just like shaped like the weapon that Spock uses in Amok Time. Yeah. So why would I hate that? It's not a brick in space.
Well, no, but it's blocky shapes in a shape.
No, I don't think you understand where my mind is coming from when I say what I say.
Well, sometimes, I'm sure. Sometimes your brain. I don't think your brain knows where your brain's coming from. I mean,
Hey, I love when Captain Foley says "Gauld." So bad at it. Well, how do you say it then?
Goa'uld.
Gauld. That
Goa.
sounds stupid.
GOA-AULD.
Gould. All right.
No,
cool.
that's the wrong. I mean, it's right. They both say it. I mean, it is Goa'uld, but you can say it Gould. It's just they're actively trying to do it wrong in the show. It's like I just got Gould.
Well, I'm like O'Neill. That's kind of my attitude.
This is why I'll accept it from you. Just from you though.
Okay. Gauld.
That's you just being an arsehole.
Oh, actually, Gauld.
Goa'uld.
Gauld.
There you go. But you say it quick with confidence, not like a.
Gauld.
There you go.
I got it right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
As soon as you say it quick with confidence,
It
it
sounds
sounds
stupid like that, though. It sounds dumb like that.
Well, that's why you don't say Goa'uld. You say Goa'uld. You just sort of like just burn through it as if it's an average. Goa'uld.
Goa'uld. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the at Trekheads? What is the Admiral looking forward to?
Oh, is she around?
We're having a discussion. Which
Do you wanna
Star
bring her on
Trek
for a
are you
minute?
looking forward to the most in 2020?
Is she dressed? Do you want to bring her on?
She's dressed, but she's just had a long day at work, so I don't want to bring her on.
Well, just
She says probably Picard.
You could have her off screen, just talk to the microphone. I mean, that'd be fine.
You can, just speak loud enough for the mic.
Oh, most likely Picard, because that one I feel like is most likely going to speak to me, but I can't wait to see what the other ones are like as well. I'll watch all of them.
Good answer.
I upped the mic as well, the mic volume on my end, just to make it even better. Yes.
Sweet. Don't worry, Jarzia, I won't stop mispronouncing it. A lot of times I mispronounce things just because I think it's funny.
Yes.
Like what do I call Stargate or SG-1? What do I call that, Samuel? He's not going to answer. I'll just tell you. Stargate Super Gay 1.
You're a super
sorry.
gay one.
It's not a bad show. I do enjoy the ones that I watch when they're not shit. But anyway, I'm sure I'd get into it if I watched them all.
I
just
know,
need to
we
sit
should-
down and watch them all.
I know we should do it. We should do a Stargate SG1 review series if enough people watch them. Be great.
I agree.
And I've just watched like a good 25% of the show the last week. So I've been doing green screen. I've watched a lot of them. From like 3 to 6. I'm on literally just burned through almost 3 full seasons. Oops. Oopsie.
Boo, Cap, play nice. I will play nice. I'm
no,
sorry.
you should never tell Cap to play nice. He plays exactly at the speed he wants to, and that's why we love him.
True.
That's my opinion anyway.
There's only one person that can tell me to play nice, and that's the Admiral. Oh yeah, eagerly awaiting the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Arrowverse series. Oh, okay. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I tuned out like season 2.
Yeah, I got to
Arrowverse,
3.5.
same thing.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. lost me a bit. And Robert Hayes says the characters were so unlikable in universe, it was ridiculous. I disagree. I think I think at least a third of them were likable, a third of them were relatable, and a third of them were difficult, but they're having a bad situation, and you grew to like them by the end, which is how evolution should be, you know.
You've grown to like me, guys, and I'm kind of an asshole. So they just like me because I'm the captain. They have no choice. Oh, okay.
It's true.
I'm sorry.
No, it's true. They've got to respect the authority. Authority.
Please don't mount your mic on a table. I'm a sound engineer.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not as bad as on my one because mine's direct. Sorry, but I'm next flat I get, I'm gonna do a stand probably, but we just haven't really. Because thing is, I don't want it like here. I don't want it like this.
Hey guys, this is the Trek Show. How you doing?
We're a
today?
YouTuber.
You can't see half my face because I'm a YouTuber, and just the way things go.
I mean, it sounds really good, and like we're talking to you, but it's like now we're us talking without barriers. Like I'd rather have that than even it just be here. Yeah. So there's reasons.
Ooh, since we're way off topic, how is the Wolverine reboot going to go? Oh, we're not that far off topic.
Yeah. Well, think about Wolverine has to be different, But the character was just Hugh Jackman bringing to it, so the character has to be different because, it's like there's a guy in a podcast I listen to, and he says that he's the better Wolverine because he's short, a little bit fat, bulky, and like strong, whereas Hugh Jackman's tall, handsome, thin. You know what I mean? He's all the things that Wolverine isn't, because Wolverine's part of the story that he was saying is that he's an unlikable, unattractive sort of guy that has all these things. It's like, yeah, he's this small, big, bulked out guy. That's he's not Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Brian Straight puts in $5 though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Most excited for my yearly watch through of TNG. These other shows, But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed our TNG watches extensively.
Yep.
And I people. Well, I guess I don't hear it that much anymore. That how we're not fair on Discovery, because I think we've been very fair on TNG season 1. When there are things I actually just can't excuse, I say this is just bad. I mean, that battle scene from a few episodes ago, I was like, nope, inexcusable.
Robert Hayes says Cavill. They're talking about Henry Cavill playing Wolverine, which would be great. I love Henry Cavill, whatever they went.
Yeah.
I think was great as Superman. They should have kept him, but whatever. But
he's not out yet, technically.
It says have him as Bond next, hopefully. Well, there's two problems with that. One, he's white, and one, he's a male. So that won't happen. Sorry. I use a floor stand, but I don't have a face cam. That makes sense, I guess, says Joe. He was the one that's triggered by our mics being on the table. Well, we can always do the Trek Yards After Hours gig where we get all sensual on you. ASMR. You know how it is. But yeah, I have a real issue with the mics in the photo and the picture all the time. Like, Anti-Trekker does it too. He's like hiding behind his mic. It's like, you got something on your face or what's going on? Plus, you can see all the settings on my microphone when you do that. I don't need you to see my settings.
Yeah, I think our rationale is pretty straightforward. Yeah, no, I'm excited for these shows because we're gonna get such a big, broad 2020. We when we reviewed season 1 Discovery, it was for the most part a good, but wow, we had to sit through it experience. Season 2, as I said to you at the time, it kept promising a good payoff, and so it was a really good ride, really disappointing payoff. But then we had such a great live. That last live was absolutely incredible. We got so many people, so much discussion, amazing, so many super chats. It was so vivid and so just the experience of doing this with you guys, that I'm looking forward to a lot. With all the different shows, spending those nights with people. Obviously, both of our Facebooks are a bit more biased. people that don't like Star Trek, if they saw a Star Trek post on their Facebook, that's weird. We see, obviously, Facebook algorithms us to see Star Trek posts. So that's targeted. But it'll be so visceral and there'll be so many things, and I can imagine with the new interest of Trek, there might be announcements of, new director's cut for films and 4K. I mean, why we haven't got 4K versions of the movies yet is, one of the biggest I guess same for Star Wars, we should get that too, but they're doing them right now. But there should be a 4K version of Wrath of Khan. I mean, can you imagine those miniature shots in 4K? I mean, they probably won't hold up as well, necessarily, especially the explosion stuff. I'm sure the Enterprise's destruction in 4K wouldn't look as good because you'd probably see the actual, cotton being disintegrated in a less real way in all of the resolution, or it might hold up amazingly well. But 4K is a nice medium, and I really hope to see Trek in 4K. I know that, although I'd tell you a little secret, I've actively avoided buying the JJ films in 4K. I don't want to give them money. I don't want to support them financially.
Well, Robert Hayes says the motion picture is coming in 4K. They announced that 4K release, so.
Yes, but it's not the director's cut, because it's all the pre-CG stuff, so it's the long version. And it's still
not as good version.
Yeah. I forgot that self-destruct subplot was re-added back in. I've only ever seen clips of the director's cut. And it's there's a whole thing about them blowing up that isn't in the main movie.
Well, I have the director's cut. I prefer it for sure.
Yeah, I got it a little while ago. I haven't watched it yet.
But you're going to have to rebuy it. Well, I guess if they ever do it in 4K. I don't know if they will.
Well, they can't really director's cut it in 4K because all the CG stuff is... They actually have to redo it. It's a whole thing. They could, but... it wasn't even HD, so to do it, you'd have to redo bits and bobs. But definitely the dry dock sequence in 4K is going to look beautiful. Although I really hope they fix the mattes, because even in HD you can see the poor matting of the elements. It's I would like a remaster that actually fixes all that stuff, because it shouldn't still be there. It's you can do digital compositing now that fixes it. It's make my 4K Trek as pretty as possible. Don't leave me the really harsh black lines around all the ships. It's you can remove that. That's fine. What do you think, Stuart? Or would you want to keep that just for authenticity's sake?
Remove it. It bothers me so much. Watching Star Wars, you see the squares around the ships, and it's please just get rid of that.
Oh, really? Which ones can you do that as? In
the original Star Wars, you can see the squares around the Millennium Falcon and the TIE fighters. It's really irritating. It's really distracting for me. And I thought when they, clean them up a bit for the special edition, they'd get rid of it. And they didn't. And it's why not? It's easy. Just match the black to that black, and then it's gone. I can do that in Paint, for Christ's sakes. Just use the little paint can thing, and poof, there you go. It's done. It's pretty simple. Anyway.
I've literally never noticed that. I don't own the Blu-rays though, and I watch them in... I think the last one I actually watched Star Wars all the way through was on VHS. Just because I just haven't. Because I know it so well, it's why do I go back and watch it? I like watching new things.
I can see them in VHS too. It's always bugged me every time watching those movies.
I've never seen that.
It's so bad.
But at this point, I'm waiting for the 4Ks because I just want to watch them properly. But the miniature work's gonna look so good in 4K for Star Wars. I cannot wait to get those. It can look so pretty. And that's why I think
in Canada. No. This is on the DVDs and stuff. I see it too, Ron.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Turn the
contrast down. That could help. Yeah, but why should I have to do that? I got different settings on my TV for movie, standard, vivid, whatever. I do that sometimes. When I watch a movie in 3D, I always put it to vivid because 3D tends to darken the picture a bit, especially with the glasses on. So I always bump up the brightness and the color. But yeah, it's bad in Star Wars. It really is.
I'll have to go back and look.
And there's even scenes in Empire Strikes Back, the original. They fixed it though. You see TIE fighters or screamed by the camera, and you see the ships moving like this, and they go down and they just disappear.
Really?
Where'd they? Oh yeah, because that's the things I watch. I watch the ships and I see where they go, and all of a sudden they just boop, they're gone. It's like, oh, but then they fixed that for the special release. So it's like, if you can fix that, why don't you fix like the obvious stuff?
So what do they do in the remastered then?
They blend in with the rest of the ships.
So is it like CGI then? They swap to VFX? Because I'm assuming that was the end of the take.
Assume so.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, it's a long shot of like the Death Star, and you see ships flying by, like squadrons of TIE fighters or whatever. You see like 2 or 3 zip by the camera, and if you follow them, you track them. You're not supposed to. You should focus on other stuff, but yeah, like they just disappear into nothingness. So
cool.
Yes, the disappearing TIE fighters. I think I noticed that on my first viewing in the theater for some reason. They were the ones moving, so your eyes naturally follow them. Absolutely.
Cool.
They did fix it in CGI. They just clipped the end to take a second or 2 earlier. Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
But yeah,
that's good to know. I love learning new things. And Jeff says if we get 10 more likes, he can sleep tonight. So we have 141. Let's get to 150. But also we're running the clock now. Should be fine. But yeah, I think Picard is going to be a real game changer. I think the pressure they have to make a good show is massive. I think the fact that Kurtzman was removed as showrunner very early on, and there was an actual person showrunner who theoretically has more credentials than other people. But that said, doesn't necessarily mean they can make good stuff. You give wrong people right material, right people wrong material. It's like Joss Whedon technically wrote Alien Resurrection.
we also have 4 dislikes.
Yes, that we do. As far as I'm going to check the PayPal just in case, because we haven't looked at that. 145.
Hashtag let Jeff sleep. That's a good one, Dale. He said let Jeff sleep, but I hashtagged it. So yeah, I've got a button over here, which I have electrodes inserted into Jeff. So I just hit the button so he can't sleep, and then when I'm satisfied with his work, then I hit the button, turn it off, and he can go to bed. So this behind the scenes dark side of Trek Yards.
Oh dear.
And Raj, I knew that. Raj says, Commander, did you know if you type in askew in Google, it tilts the page?
Oh, nice. Nice. 3 more likes. But yeah, I think Picard will be fun, and I can't wait to see Riker in uniform. I can't wait to see the new ship. I hope we're going to see a new flagship. I hope we're going to see actual John Eves' good designs rather than some of the Discovery stuff when it's been more interfered with. Looking forward to see random alien races in Discovery. And I know they said in the panel they're excited to show us what the 33rd century? Where are they at? They're like, I don't know. Or 3600s? Like, what a phaser looks like in that time period. And a tricorder looks like in that time period. They explicitly said phaser. So we're interested to see what that is. And for all the amazing cameos in Lower Decks, because someone asked that, and they said, well, they all exist in our timeline. So I expect to have a billion cameos, as in cameos like actual stories, like Worf will be in it, and even Barclay and someone can be in it. It's like, why wouldn't you have everyone in Lower Decks? You should,
How do you wear 3D glasses if you already wear glasses? They go over top of these glasses. It's easy. Anyway, yeah, the future phaser, I could just imagine some kind of like attachment on their arm, and they put up their hand, and it's like almost like Iron Man, but it's like a replicator replicates the core, and then like a holographic shell over top of it. That'd be cool.
You mean like from Star Trek Renegades, the fan film movie?
Did they have that in that? I've only watched that once.
The Borg Icheb's arm becomes a cannon.
Oh yeah, no, that's just stupid.
Okay.
No, I think the holographic actually looks like hologram.
Problem is, we know what a 29th century phaser looks like. I guess it's still like 200, 300, 400 years after that, but it's like, a lot of phaser tech into one thing. 149 likes. One more like.
Let's do it. Hold on a second.
But yeah, I think all 3 shows are gonna be interesting, and we're gonna look at them, analyze them, hope for greatness, hope for continuity, hope for adding to the universe, and treating us treat us with more respect. You know, I know they don't think they're treating us with not respect, but you know that often things don't. People think things are good until after they come out. You know,
We got 154 likes. I told Sylvia to go hit like on her phone, and then we got a couple more. So thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Boom, 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 and yeah.
So now Jeff can sleep. I'll go hit the button, Jeff. That was easy. There you go. Jeff Jacobs, 354. Electrodes removed. Thanks, guys. Hashtag snore time.
I was about to say, who's our last super chat? So is that our last super chat? Do we have one more last super chat?
That's good, unless somebody wants to step up. But we'll close out, and if you can fit it in before we finish, then you win.
Yeah, this has been another good live. Thanks so much. And we're doing Stuart, you summarise what we're doing on Thursday. What is our live topic on Thursday? The funny one.
No idea. Oh yeah, Thursday we're going to be looking at.
Your idea.
We're going to go through the list of all of the season 2 episodes and kind of give you our first mental what we remember, what our impression was of the episode, and then that's all before our actual rewatch of season 2. So when we go through, it'll be interesting to see how it's changed. So that'll be a fun super chat event. Hopefully, you guys can put in your 2 cents too about what you remember of each episode, and that'll be on Thursday, guys.
And also be a casual drink one, so we'll each have a drink with us, and you can casually make us drink, and we'll just be drinking because I'm sure that'll make how explaining episodes be more fun as we go, which is part of the fun of that. And we'll each do it so that I think Stuart will go first, or whoever goes first won't hear the other person's version, so that it's unbiased, and you guys get to enjoy both versions, and I guess you can vote who got it closer. Me or Stuart, or if they're the same, because I looked through the list yesterday. I was like, just names, just episodes. Like I don't know what some of these are, but Stuart luckily allowed me to have I can look at a picture, and that'll be fun. It's good for you. So that's Thursday, same time, same place. Looking forward to that.
Are the streams always at the same time? John asks. Yes. They're generally around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 10 in the UK. Sometimes they're an hour early, maybe 4 Eastern Standard Time. Just pay attention to the Facebook group for that. And Andrew K. Channel asks, what do we think of Tarantino's Star Trek? Well, you know what? We've done a whole live on it, so go look it up. Trek Yards Tarantino. Do a search, and you'll find it, and watch that, because it's worth its own discussion for sure.
And that was good, because we both went in being less excited, but we talked it through and really, got some really good thoughts by the end of it, which was great. And 9 times out of 10 we are this time. Occasionally not, but most of the time we are. And like I say, I'll make a little announcement video when we do the drunk live, so people know who don't just look at the Facebook, because we want to get as many people there as possible, because that'll be really, really fun live, we think, earlier in the day on Saturday, and have more time to do it. And people loved our first drunk one a lot. To the point that Stuart didn't remember the last 30 minutes, which is great. Go back.
Then I almost died, but that's okay.
Yes, as I'm going to recommend, like last time, Stuart will have food on the live. We'll have food prepared so we will have food in our stomachs mid as well. Otherwise, we'll die.
Yeah.
On that note, see you on Thursday, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.